Bitcoin continues its trade sideways and actually a little bit down. Will it bounce off what appears to be the 100-day moving average and move up from here? Nobody knows. Let's take a deeper look. So, just kind of briefly looking at the overall chart for Bitcoin right now, we briefly just hit the 100-day moving average right here and have bounced up off of that. There are some people on Twitter that are hoping maybe this is a bottom signal. We bounced off the 100-day. Maybe we can move up from here. Only time will tell, but that does appear to be a higher low than the low we put in at the very beginning of May. So we have only climbed up from here. And y'all, to be honest with you, like this blue box here is showing this is the price when the ETF, the Bitcoin ETFs were launched on January 11th. I seriously doubt that they would ever let their funds go outflow so much Bitcoin that the price would collapse below this 5150-ish range right here, let alone like, the 45-ish range. I just think that they had to, there obviously is going to be a bit of a sell-off on the news, and then there's a rally from all their buying after that. But I just don't see them allowing their funds to all of a sudden not perform as well as they were in the past, because these are the best performing funds on the face of the planet that have ever existed. Even the smaller ETF, the smaller ETF issuers that only have a few $1 billion in it worth of Bitcoin versus the hundreds of billions of dollars that are, no, I'm sorry, they probably only have 12 billion, if I'm thinking correctly, BlackRock in their ETF. So everyone is accumulating right now. We only hear more news about people accumulating, which is always great to hear. And you're complaining about more sideways trading is just giving fuel to people that are itching to short sell against the market. So, fear, uncertainty, and doubt is what they play into. So the more afraid that you appear to be online, the more they are going to be egged on to try and short sell their position. So just keep that in mind, a little positivity to your friends and family, and to just post online every single day on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever platforms that you use. Just be positive about Bitcoin. And I'm sure that positivity will be relayed to others, and it will be reflected in the price soon enough. Speaking of price, Bitcoin has had diminishing returns. This could be the very first epoch that breaks this cycle, but it's not looking like it. So if we're about at a break-even point right now. This chart was made by Wicked, so you should follow Wicked on Twitter. We're basically at this break-even point right now. I could see us, going up 200-300%, because each one of these is roughly half of the previous epoch's increase, except, that's about a quarter, and then that's about a half. So, maybe this will be about a third or so. So maybe you get 200% or something like that. But it's looking like diminished returns are the case. I would love to be proven wrong on this one, but so far the cards are not showing any sort of signs of breaking this pattern right now. That being said, there are a lot of positive reasons to be positive. This is not one of them, unfortunately. This is the active, well, this could be a positive thing depending on how you look at it. This is the number of active Bitcoin wallet addresses. And you'll notice over here we've got solid chunks, and they're high on, periods of, this only goes back a couple of weeks, back into May, beginning of May, so a month and a half. You've got these large and high periods of many addresses that are active and moving money around, whereas now you see that a lot of the activity is diminished. Even when we do have a strong day, it doesn't match maybe nearly half as much as the other days. Or I'm sorry, if you look at the scale, it's not quite half. It is diminished though. And some days are way, way lower than others. But if you look at this, it sort of might pretend to tell you that the more active addresses are, the higher the price can go. And that is just a function of people buying and selling, obviously, and giving funds to Coinbase, and Coinbase sending and withdrawing funds to other people and clients who are buying and selling their Bitcoin. So that only makes perfect sense. But so the number of addresses to be diminished that are active right now is not necessarily a bad thing. Though I think, if I recall correctly, when the addresses are actually really diminished in activity, that's when the price really starts to go, is because that's when people just stop trading. They just stop putting it on the exchange. They take it and they go, you know what, I'm just going to put it here and I'm going to forget about it. And they'll come back when the market turns around and they hear their niece, nephew, and grandma all talking about how great Bitcoin is, and NFTs and ordinals and runes and all sorts of other things. So just keep that in mind. These are things that are not necessarily bad functions of the market, but just, take it with a grain of salt. Just different aspects of what's going on to look at. Other things to look at. This is from Dennis Porter on Twitter. I believe this is from the Idaho Republican Party, who I don't know if this is an actual law or not. I think it's just a stance that the party has taken. And like I said in one of my other videos, there are a lot of politicians that are trying to orange wash themselves right now with Bitcoin and or crypto to try and get your vote. So just keep that in mind. But the Idaho Republican Party says that they oppose the creation of a central bank digital currency, the regulation and or excessive taxation of digital currency such as Bitcoin, and we affirm the right of individuals to engage in commerce and exchange with cash, barter, precious metals, and decentralized digital currencies. They say Bitcoin right there. So that's actually pretty bullish for the Idaho Republican Party to specifically call out Bitcoin, and in the same sentence, really, to say that they oppose a central bank digital currency, which is great. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think we're kind of already on a central bank digital currency. If you look at your bank account, like, they kind of have control over it. Like, I mean, you could get away with cash payments and stuff like that. And there are Bitcoin and Litecoin and Monero, and there are other options that you can use to transact anonymously with even precious metals. So there are still ways around using the US dollar system. But if you want to use the US dollar, it's basically already a CBDC, because everything that you do with your payments, whenever you buy anything, that information is tracked, it's leaked, it's sold on the secondary market with JP Morgan and whoever else, Wells Fargo, whoever you bank with. Like, they're all selling your data. Okay, like, it's just a function of the contract that you sign with them when you use their services. So you deposit your money at their facility, you use their services, you sign their contract, you do what they say, they take your information and sell it to people, and you're either not aware of this, or you are. You just can't do anything about it. That's kind of where I am. Moving on, what is also interesting about the Bitcoin ETFs, specifically the IBIT BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, is the number of inflow days. Let me see if I can pull this up. Actually, I think I pulled it up last time. There it is. The days of inflows into the iShares Bitcoin Trust is pretty astounding, because if you just take a look here, the green is obviously inflows. So if you you got one red day, you've got another red day, but that is it. There are no other red days. There were only 2 days where BlackRock's ETF had an outflow, while other ETFs have had many. Even the Fidelity ETF has had many days of outflows. It appears to me, and in days where they only add 22 Bitcoin, and there are other days where they 23. So I can almost guarantee you this is just BlackRock covering. If there was somebody that wanted to sell their Bitcoin, BlackRock would probably buy their own fund, which we know is happening. But I'm just speculating on a case of why they might be buying their own fund is to make it appear as though there are only inflows into their fund, which makes sense from a marketing and sales standpoint. But I also think that they want all the Bitcoin just legitimately flat bottom rock. I don't think that they're going to give it up. I don't think that you're ever going to see I think the red days, the outflow days on BlackRock's Bitcoin Trust, I think its days are numbered. I don't think you're going to see outflows. And if you do, it'll be interesting to see and understand what the circumstances of the outflow days are. But BlackRock is really stacking. And I can almost guarantee you that they are probably working with Coinbase to like make some cup game charade with, I believe Coinbase has so many days to settle the transactions with the ETFs. So there's some time lag and all of that. They have been building up that time lag just from my speculation. I think that once these cup games they can't play anymore or becomes too difficult, they'll get their hands tied soon enough, and either Coinbase will become another FTX case, or the price will just go up and everyone will be happy and live on. I'm sure everyone will be happy and live on. It's just we're all coiling up on this sideways action here, and it's driving people nuts. I'm on Twitter a lot, and I can just see like the mood is just palpable. Everyone is just ready for the next move upwards, and no one knows when it's coming. And it's just like you'll have a few green days or a green day, and it's just like it's descending triangles all over the place. So to have some actual upward movement for some sustained period of time, like we had from February all the way to March, another one of these moves, probably up into the 100K area, we are definitely going to have resistance at 100K. So look out for that. But the volume is nice. The volume is nice to see. The inflows are nice to see. Even Grayscale is having good. I think how is Grayscale doing? Pause. We're just going to go check out Grayscale for a second. They have the second most amount of Bitcoin. It's hard to say if they're completely done selling. They have been selling they've been selling nonstop since the beginning. So that's what also is keeping the price suppressed. So yeah, they are still selling. Their fee is at least 3 to 5 times as high as other ETFs fee. And that must be something to do with a negotiation with the SEC and BlackRock and Fidelity to get the Bitcoin out of that fund, or to have price suppression from all the selling. And what's really kind of unfair is that all of the selling that occurs on these ETFs happens on the open market. But when they go and buy it, they just buy it from Coinbase over the counter. So you only get negative price action, which that seems a little like, because they could easily just not sell it on the open market and send it to BlackRock and Fidelity, who could just let them know, hey, I have market orders for 100 Bitcoin each. Do you have 200 Bitcoin for sale? So then, yeah, they would say, yeah, we have 200, we have 800 for sale today. Would you like to bump it up to 800? And they would just send the Bitcoin without it hitting the open market as a sale. That way, the price would actually reflect positivity. There's only negative. It's only a downward pressure coming from Grayscale, at least for now. So when they have inflow days, they're nice to see, but I can almost guarantee you that this is not going to stop for a long time. Anyway, so that's that. That's volume. Big volume. Good. Almost all, $750 million is pretty good. Two-thirds of $1 billion is pretty good. In other news, Bitmain has revealed their new S21 Pro Bitcoin miner, and it is more efficient than their last S21 Bitcoin miner. Their last S21 Bitcoin miner, where is it? Had 17.5 joules per terahash. Now, their new S21 is 15 joules per terahash. It takes less energy to produce 1 terahash, roughly 15-ish% less. Yeah, no, it's less than that. It's like 5-10%, but still, that's a good move. That's a good move. It's more efficient. And the fact that they were able to hit it right at 15 makes me think that they could probably have made it more efficient. But they have marketing and they have future products to give out. Like, it's hard to compete with Bitmain because they are just ready on the market with the next best Bitcoin miner that everyone buys. They basically have, it's like the Apple of computers. Everyone uses it, and therefore everyone uses it. It's sort of like a positive feedback loop. I mean, it's hard until Bitmain becomes so bloated that their management becomes lackadaisical, or they, make some big mistakes on some units that don't function properly. They're gonna run for a long time. This company is gonna make a lot of money for a long time, and I wish they were publicly traded, but I don't believe that they are. So I cannot invest in them. But I wish them all the best of luck, because the more units that they can pump out, the more ASICs that they can get out there, the better for you and I, the better for the whole Bitcoin network security. And we'll make more. Everyone makes more money. More miners, more money. It's a great thing. Moving on to some other out-of-the-box things. GameStop. I did not think that GameStop was going to go through this mother of all short squeezes scenario that people keep, like the Wall Street Bets guy, think that Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, were going to implement somehow. Or, the more I watched, and just as a trader, even also myself, I'm like, maybe, but I think that's already happened. He exercised his call options. He has over 9 million shares now, so good for him. He owns 2.5% of GameStop, which is a multi-billion-dollar company with $4 billion on their balance sheet now, that has a really good the runway ahead of them. But they had an earnings call today that no one seemed to appreciate. They basically said, yeah, we have a whole bunch of money, KP SPY. They didn't even have a question and answer section. They just pieced out and were like, this is what you got. I hope you like it. Have a good night. But I don't think that's the way to treat investors. So let's hope that Mr. Cohen knows what he's doing, continues to play ball well, and I do think that GameStop will rebound from these levels, but I don't think it's going to rebound from here quickly. But if you look at their previous price chart, if we can pull that up, I have been wrong before in the past, because look at this. They have candles that just spike. If I can focus that correctly. Let's get this down to 30-minute candles. We'll squeeze that up a little bit more. So sometimes the price really just goes really quickly, and especially when when Keith Gill was first tweeting, that first week, they really pumped it up out of nowhere. If he had, I'm sure to him, this whole GameStop thing was probably more about, it's about the money. All of this is about the money. But I think that maybe he thought he had more power in this, or that definitely other people thought he had more power in this, and to affect the market or to sway it one way or another. But we did see that the algorithm will react just to what he says, and not even to the actual selling that he might be, because he could have dumped on the market and the price obviously would have gone down, but he didn't sell, and the price started to tick down simply because he said that he was going to end the stream. That being said, he was a billionaire for about 15 seconds, so that I can't say that. I don't think I'll ever be able to say that. So good for him. But if you had some good call options, you could have definitely made, a good amount of chunk of change because it's doubled from, the end of May to, beginning of June. We're sitting around 25-ish dollars right now. It could go up into the 40s, I think, short term. But honestly, for any of you diamond hands out there, you're probably just be prepared for a slow bleed. It'll probably just tweeter out here very slowly and painfully because I mean that's what Bitcoin does until it spikes up out of nowhere like this right here. But this ain't Bitcoin, and they can print as many shares as they want, like they have recently when Keith was started to tweet all these new memes on Twitter and stuff and post his position on Reddit. That the GameStop sold into that. They created shares out of thin air and sold into that. So you can't do that with Bitcoin. You can't, if the price goes up, you can't just create Bitcoin out of thin air and sell into it and make a huge amount of money and just sit it on your balance sheet. So that's an advantage of buying Bitcoin versus any stock. Some stocks are better than others. Some people are better. Some management teams are better than others at not inflating the number of authorized and outstanding shares and not just selling out onto the open market and expecting shareholders to absorb it all. But not all of them are like that. And last but not least, Chuck Schumer is some sort of psychopath or lizard person or actor, or he's a joker laughing at you. I think he's laughing at us. I mean, seriously, it barely looks like the grill might be on. I can see some orange down there. It might be on. Either it just got turned on because I don't see any smoke in here, but these hot dogs look fully cooked and they have burn marks on them. So but these patties are raw and they kind of look like they've been sitting out. Honestly, they're kind of brownish. They're not really that red. And he's got a fucking, sorry for cursing, a slice of raw, cold America cheese on a cold patty on the grill. And then look at this psychotic smile this dude has. Are you kidding me? This dude helps ruin the country, ruin and or run the country. No thanks. This is creepy. He's got a creepy smile here. He's like, these people have to be laughed. I also refuse to believe that. I mean, this grill does look used. I don't know if this is his house or not, but I refuse to believe that. He obviously eats poorly by his body figure and or does not work out. So part of that does not surprise me. But also this dude is loaded. This is a multi-hundred millionaire, right? Definitely a multi-millionaire. I refuse to believe that he is going to be out back grilling some burgers when he could be at some nice restaurant that'll feed him grass-fed steaks and or, better assembled hamburgers of some sort. Lizard people. I guarantee you this dude is a skinwalker. Look at his eyes. He's soulless. He's just got nothing. And there's nothing there. There's nothing there. This is an empty shell. Look at that. It's an empty shell. These people you allow to run and ruin your life. So I hope you know that. These are not good people. So I think that's going to do it for now. I will catch y'all in the next one. I hope y'all have a good evening and or tomorrow and or next week or whenever you decide to watch another one of my videos. So thanks.